Hello, my name is Tharsan Jeyabalasingam, and I'll be doing a presentation about contemporary issues in social media. What is social media? Social media is a computer-based technology that facilitates the sharing of ideas, thoughts, and information through the building of virtual networks and communities. By design, social media is internet-based and gives users quick electronic communication of content. Content includes personal information, documents, videos, and photos. Users engage with social media via the computer, tablet, or smartphone, via web-based software or applications. While social media is ubiquitous in America and Europe, Asian countries like Indonesia lead the list of social media usage. Social media originated as a way to interact with friends and families but was later on adopted by businesses that wanted to take advantage of popular new communication methods to reach out to customers. The power of social media is the ability to connect and share information with anyone on the earth and with many people simultaneously. Globally, there are more than 3.8 billion users. There are more than 3.8 billion social media users. Social media is an ever-changing and ever-evolving field, with new apps such as TikTok and Clubhouse coming out seemingly every year, joining the ranks of established social networks such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter and Instagram. Statistically, by 2023, the number of social media users just in the United States is forecasted to increase to approximately about 257 million. Social media positive impact by the government. The spread of COVID-19 is unprecedented in almost every aspect for the public sector, including communications. Public information professionals are being asked to provide regular updates in uncertain times to an anxious public. With many people on the edge and glued to their screens, the wrong message could exacerbate things. The public is looking to the government not just for direction but also a set of tone on how to cope. It's especially important for the public sector to get the message out in a clear and calm and professional manner. This means no overuse of exclamation points or tweets in capital letters. They must put officials in the front and center that can convey important messages in a controlled and reassuring way, such as the National Institute of Health does. In America, in the city of Newark, they are using Facebook Live to communicate to their citizens and keep them informed with the latest COVID crisis. This has been hugely beneficial to those who spend time on their phones rather than watching the news. Therefore, the mayor is able to inform his citizens to be safe and follow instructions such as social distancing. I preferably think there should be a legal requirement when opening social media account to provide verified forms of ID. Where the account belongs to a person under of 18 must be verified by an account with an ID such as from a parent or guardian. This would prevent anonymized um, harmful activity, providing traceability if an offense occurs. This will prevent cyber attackers to manipulate people on social media and could reduce the number of fake accounts whom say harmful and explicit things. There has been a petition to make this a requirement be talked about in the parliament. There has been about 171,430 signatures achieved, and this debate will be held in the Houses of Parliament in less than 15 days to make this a legal requirement or have a debate. Social media negative impact by the government. In the UK, the government is known to support of personal privacy. Social media has presented a challenge in protecting and controlling individual privacy rights. A recent ad campaign had warned British soldiers about how to use their social media less, so that less information would end up in their enemies' hands. This is a way of controlling a person on how they must act for the benefit of the government. Although it is a national risk, the soldiers exposing themselves, but then again it is a free world on where each person should do as they please and talk as they please. The Chinese authorities blocked Facebook along with Twitter and Google services in July 2009 following the riots in Xinjiang, a special autonomous region in the western China. The crackdown was aimed at circulating communications among independence activists. China is considered to have one of the most extensive and sophisticated censorship regime in the world. This is called the Great Firewall. A number of methods have been employed to control online expression, including websites blocking and keyword filtering, censorship and censoring social media, and arresting content posters who breach the sensitive or political issues. Before Taiwan's presidential election, which pitted independent-minded Tsai Ing-wen against Han Kuo-yu, who advocated closer ties to Beijing, Chinese operatives used content farms to broadcast fabricated news articles which meant to sway the public's opinion. Much like the Russian Internet Research Agency had littered the US social media platforms with divisive content, China aligned groups translated false and misleading English language articles into simple Chinese. Then they used an artificial intelligence tool to broadcast this message to the Taiwanese users. Typical content included suggestions that President Tsai had faked a doctorate degree, or that Joshua Wong, a leading Hong Kong demonstrator, had kicked an elderly man during a visit to Taiwan. According to prior reports, some Chinese-backed media also suggested Wong has conspired with members of Tsai's progressive political party against Beijing. Social media helping Uyghur citizens. China is facing mounting criticism from around the world over its treatment of mostly Muslim Uyghur population in the northwestern region of Xinjiang. Human rights groups believe China has detained more than 1 million Uyghurs over the past few years in what the state defines as re-educational camps. There is evidence of Uyghurs being used as forced laborers and women being forcibly sterilized. There has been many videos evidence showing on how these citizens have been mistreated. As you can see on the right, a young Uyghur woman in Boston is harnessing the power of social media to raise awareness about the plight of her people in China's Xinjiang region, including her father, whom has been held in so-called Chinese re-educational camp for 2 years. Samira Iman, who is 27, is reaching out to thousands of people on social media platforms such as Twitter to share stories about her 54-year-old father, Imran Saidin, who went missing in 2017 in the predominantly Uyghur region of Xinjiang. Exiled Uyghur Samira Iman holds a picture of her father, Imran Saidin, who went missing in China's Xinjiang province in 2017. Iman had told Vogue that they had recently learned that her friend in Beijing that her father was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment for a book that he had published 3 years before his arrest. The book of the title was A Teacher of Arab Tongue, The Science of Rhetoric. The case is still ongoing, but the Chinese government is proving difficult to be dealt with. Another example is the US teenager who had uh, put up TikTok video clips accusing of China putting Muslims into concentration camps has gone viral on the Chinese-owned social network. The post appears to be a beauty tip at the start, but then the woman then changes task to ask the viewers to raise awareness of what she describes as another Holocaust. Feroza Aziz later tweeted that TikTok has blocked her posting from Newark, Kent as this resulted. Privacy issues. Rising concerns exacerbated by the Cambridge Analytica breach of Facebook data centers on how bad actors access private data from their social media platforms and elsewhere and use it to manipulate opinions for the benefit of few. For example, the Russian operative Internet Research Agency is accused of interfering in US presidential election of 2016 by using social media to spread disinformation and stirred up conflict and distrust. As you can see on the right is a former special counsel, Robert Mueller, that testifies before a House Judiciary Committee on the Office Special Counsel investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 presidential election. Some some form of threats on social media could include data mining, phishing attempts, malware sharing, and botnet attacks. Solutions for these privacy issues. There are 5 main solutions that you must take aware of. The first one is keep a check of your cloud providers. If your big data is stored in a cloud, you must make sure that your provider has sufficient protection mechanisms in place. Do you see that the provider does periodic security audits and agree on penalties in the situation when adequate security standards are not met? The second one is an adequate access control policy should be created. Policies should be made that they allow access to authorized users only. This will prevent unauthorized access to data from both internal and external sources. The third one is to protect your data. It is very important to protect both your data, that is raw data outcome from your analytics. To ensure no sensitive data is leaked, encryption should be used accordingly. The fourth one is communication protocols. Adequate protection should be given to data in transit to ensure its confidentiality and integrity. The fifth and last one is real-time security monitoring. There should be a control on access to data, and it should be monitored. To prevent unauthorized access to data, threat intelligence should be used. As you can see on the right is a regulation-enabled solution for privacy prevention in the web, and they have shown examples on what kind of software you can use. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Please email me if you have any questions regarding this presentation with the email below. Thank you.